Welcome to episode 79 of Apartment Hacker. I'm Mike Brewer, and at Apartment Hacker, it is my mission to tease out human potential in the multifamily space. Today, we are on part 4 of a 7-part series as it relates to charting your course for success in the multifamily space. And today, I want to talk about values. And I think that values can marry or are akin to belief systems that can either make or break you in any work environment. But since we talk about the multifamily space at Apartment Hacker, we'll talk about it as it relates to the multifamily space. And I think many times there are struggles. I think innately we kind of know what our true north is. We know what our values are. We know the difference between right and wrong. But I think it's very important to get hyper aware of what our value system is. And I want to talk about a technique or a way of doing that. And I'll just preface by saying this technique might be a little bit morbid, but I think it's a very powerful way to get at what your absolute fundamental value system really is. So the technique I either read about it in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People or the 8th Habit, both written by Stephen Covey some years ago. And the exercise goes like this. You sit down with a pen and a piece of paper, and you get yourself in a space, close your eyes, and you think about a funeral. And at the funeral, the room is full of a bunch of people, and you slowly begin to realize that you recognize a bunch of the people in the room. And over a little bit of course of time, you realize that these people are there to attend your funeral. And your intent or your purpose in this exercise is to sit down and write your obituary from 4 different perspectives. And those 4 perspectives are one from your spouse. So you write a letter as if you are your spouse writing about you and what they would want to say, what you would want them to say about you at the funeral. And then you write a letter from the perspective of a coworker or a leader in the multifamily space in this sense. Then you pick a friend and you write a letter for the friend who would be speaking at your funeral. And then you think about either areas of service that might include your church or your local municipality or some sort of civil service that you do. And you write a letter from a leader in that particular space for them to read at your funeral. And then what you do is you sit down and you highlight words like, we'll pick the word encourager as an example. You highlight the words, the adjectives that people use to describe you. And now this is you describing yourself. And really what you're doing is teasing out those things that you would want other people to think and believe about you at the time that you pass from this earth. And then you sit down and you take a real hard look at those adjectives and those things that you want people to believe about you. And you discern whether or not those things are present in your life today. And if they're not, then you go about installing them or shoring them up in your life. But the bigger point here, the overarching point here, is that those are the things that you value. Those are the things that you should use to govern your career. Now, you can use them to govern your personal life as well. I have some thoughts about personal and professional life, but we won't go into that right now. But I think that this is a powerful way of helping you get centered and helping define your true north really specifically, so that you can exercise that while you're charting your course to success in the multifamily space. So go through the exercise. It's powerful. It's powerful. It takes some time. It takes some deep thought. Writing a letter in a 140 character driven world is a hard thing to do, but it is very much worth the effort to do it. So that's my encouragement, my call to action for you today. We'll be back tomorrow with episode number 5 here at Apartment Hacker. I hope you have a great Wednesday. We will talk to you soon.